Hey folks, once again I am hitting the SEO masterclass of low energy development work on a level that doesn't really interest people, but it's fun for me. And, you gotta pass your time somehow, because, entropy isn't waiting for anybody. Today, unfortunately, I think we're gonna be doing a bit of the Devil's Nectar, otherwise known as math. And let's see, did that actually connect to my... I don't think it did. Oh, it did. Awesome. So, does it hit here? It does. Okay. Now we'll go back in. What we're looking for... Oh, it still did. Current mask is 256. Oh, that's cool that the masks are powers of 2. So this is 128, this is 256. So it is looking for the building mask, which we're going to want to fix real quick. Man, the debugging now is so smooth. Current mask, building. So we want to go into game data. We want to change it to terrain. Cool. Okay. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Okay. So it doesn't want to use straw gizmos. I'm trying to get lines to draw, and I'll show you why in a bit, because we have some math to do. And maybe I'll explain it once we get going. I did see a line there for a moment. Ah! Big brain plays. We don't want it here. We want it here in our move area. Sorry, just going down here. Oh my god, I should add a button so that I can quickly type things without having to like write them again. Oh, neat. Somebody made a game in Excel. That's cute. Okay, anyways. Back to what we were doing. So, awesome. So you see those lines, right? That's where we're going to be doing stuff soon. So I think we can get rid of every other line besides this one. And the reason for that is unrelated to the dance. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, if you watched the last video at all, you know I was dealing with the incredible frustration of hitting play and waiting for like 40 seconds for it to load. Although now it's going to jinx me because it's in debugging mode. So after we load this time, we're actually going to go check and see if we saved. But yeah, so there's a play setting that you have to change in order to get instant loading. And that's what I was missing, so. Let's see here. Assets. Oh, I'm silly. I don't want to edit in here. Okay, cool. So that line... Apparently my phone thought I was talking to it. Let's just turn that off so that it doesn't... Whoops. I restarted it. Howdy, Bass. So this song is actually from a remix of Ridge Racer Type 4. I found a full album of their stuff. But yeah, so what I was mentioning before you popped in was the reason we're going to do the debug draw line for the block is there are two levels of casting that we're dealing with. So basically, and I wish there was a quick way to move. Oh, there is. Okay, I actually have an idea. We're gonna do something kind of dumb real quick. Window capture and MS Paint. And we're gonna grab, not this, where is it? Calculator. There it is. Okay, so this is our fancy pants image. Okay, so the thought process that we have to go through here, and can you see my white on white? Fantastic. Okay, so basically we have to think about different stages for the raycast, which I've actually written down here. And what's going to happen is you've got this ocean floor, which is our base raycast layer. So when we're building terrain or putting terrain blocks down, we want to raycast to the ocean floor, and that will give us a position where those blocks will go. And let's see here. Let's make this line bigger. Yeah, that's a good line. So when we raycast, we know, okay, we want to put the block here, and we round to the nearest int so that it's got a nice snapping motion. But when we're placing buildings, we don't want to raycast down to here to figure out where this building goes, because when you go to try and get this block, you would send a laser right through that block down to here, which is probably going to snap over here and put your building here. So what we want instead is when you're building or placing buildings, we want it to raycast into the terrain instead of the ocean floor. And when we go to do that, what we're going to want to do is we want to know which side of the block that we're hitting. And that's where the math is going to come in later. And I'm probably going to do it terrible, but cool. Now I have MS Paint whenever I need it. Maybe I'll just switch over and have, what's that app called? Affinity open when I'm doing that stuff. Anyways. So back to what we were doing. So we see that it's currently got pivot, or whatever you want to call it, scrolling. We don't have zooming yet, but that is going to be supported. We're using the new Unity input system so that when I go to add like joystick support, I won't have to do a bunch of extra work in order to make it work. It'll all just sort of feed through this system. But yeah, also, currently if you move and then you leave your game and come back, it'll start you wherever you left off. That's going to be probably how it'll work until we have some sort of like intro where like a camera flies in or does something neat with your island. Just so if you're, you know, way over here and you were doing some work, you don't want to have the game restart and have you be way over in this corner again. You want it to be wherever you left off, presumably. At least I certainly will while I'm working on things. And then, yeah, we've got the blocks for adding another block. I need to do a building next. In fact, because we are now to this point, we need to exit out and make that. So we've got a terrain piece. We're actually just going to duplicate that. So we duplicate it. We'll just call it building. Obviously, the shape of buildings later won't just be a single block, but we'll switch it over to building for the type. And we need to change the... am I going to want to make a second prefab of this? Or can I just change the material on this? A good question. I guess we'll find out. Ooh, is it not going to let me change the color from here? Well, that's rude. That's fine. We can just make a quick temporary material. And I'll just go into Blender later and make a new thing. Cube. Top material. Bottom material. Okay. Interesting. I apparently imported 1 centimeter version and a 1 meter version. Okay. So let's create a material, which would be under... I think it's literally just called material, yeah. And bloop. Because I'm not going to be using it for very long. Opaque and stuff is fine. Yeah. Oops. There we go. And then we're going to go check our other... Did it work? It did. Okay, so now we have our... well, let's make bloop a color of some kind. I'm partial to... Oh! I'm partial to this working. Not that you can see it, but... Okay, well, if you don't want to let me change you, I'll let you live your best life. That's fine. I was trying to change the color and it just wouldn't let me. Okay, so we will add a button to the debug menu. This is our button. It is. We will make a new one, and we will, again, the name of it for now is fine, because later it's going to be generated by... Oh, right, now we have to fix this. Private, let's do game object. Object to spawn. And again, you don't have to initialize values. In C#, they naturally initialize the things. I just do this because I have PTSD from JavaScript. And because of my system, because of my system, I can pass anything through my events, which is good. Yeah, part of this operation is just figuring out what music I can play in the background without getting copyright claimed. Because don't get me wrong, I didn't make this music, but it would be nice if they didn't act like people are gonna listen to me blabber on over a song. Or, goodness, I hope not. I would hope people would just go listen to the actual song. Okay, and then we'll change the text on this one to temp building. Auto size, please. No, it's fine. Okay, so now we've got a new button. Those will send their values through to generate block requests. One of the things I like to do is make it so that I can easily track where my debug stuff happen, or track where my event listeners happen. So I actually have a drop-down menu to show me where things are listening. So we go over here, and we see it is being listened to here. Indeed, I see it down here, which admittedly is hidden behind Visual Studio for you, but it's right here. So we are going to pop in here, and we are going to actually instantiate object value, and we're going to say oh, cute. Yeah, I was pulling it from there. We can make that work later. So, game objects. Spawn equals value at game object. So now it's been cast as a game object, and we know, just by virtue of how the system is made, we know that this object we'll do that, and then I never know how I feel about any valued thing, but at least it's easy to rename things. I knew it! It's been going down this whole time while I was talking. I'm gonna need to get a new arm at some point, because it does not stay up, and it drives me absolutely mad. There we go. Okay. All right. I knew it. So now we need to go back here. And scroll down. Boop. Okay, so I think I hit everything. So if we click grass block, we get that. And if we hit temp building, yay, we get the building piece. Which we can't drop because it's not supported yet. But now we can go over to our input controller, which is a bit of a mess right now, but it works. And let's see. So once it's generated, it goes in here. Then we're checking what the state is. If you have an object that you're moving and you're editing buildings, then the thing we want to be looking for is the terrain mask. If you've got an object and the thing you're editing is the terrain, then we want to find the seafloor, the floor. So this would come here, this would go here. We saw that the line was being drawn, I believe. That means that we are getting to here. And that's fine. The problem is that, as you saw, the block is at the same level as the terrain. We need it to actually be higher. Now, the eventual animation makes this a little bit move, but not entirely. The obvious, simplest solution, which I'm not a fan of, is just as an example. Or you could just do +1, because it'll get reset on every frame. And this will just be for the visual real quick. We'll take it in steps. Okay, no, actually, I see what's wrong. Because we're using the debug editor, we haven't devised a system yet where when you use the debug, for instance, if you generate a building block, it doesn't also switch the game state to building rather than blocks. So we actually need to go over to game data and change this to edit building. So we edit building. Still oh, it got switched back to terrain. All right, so it's actually one higher than I would expect. Oh, no, oh, I know why. Because it was raycasting and hitting the block, so that would move it up one. Okay, so that's fine. Did I save? I did. What you doing, Wilfer? Huh? Huh? What are you doing? Why are you so high? Didn't your mother ever tell you not to do that? Save? Okay, we'll let it recompile. It might not have actually saved. I'm sure it isn't. Okay. Game data. Okay, set to buildings. Alright. So we've clearly got an issue here. Now that's exciting. Alright. So the obvious, simplest solution would be to take, if we're doing this, let's see here. This will make sense in a moment. And we're going to consolidate this into a vector 3 later. I'm watching you. But we could say, again, this is just in order to check what's going on. If we're editing buildings, then our position, in fact, let's just do this now. Vector 3. Vector 3 int. And let's drop these bad boys in there. All right. Cost equals new vector 3 int. Stop complaining. And this one's going to be hit.transform.position. In fact, it's going to complain because it's going to go, you can't make a vector. Can you just cast that, I wonder? I've never actually tried that. Will it let me? Nah. Okay, that's fine. We can definitely make this work. So, math. In fact, we could, because the blocks themselves are already rounded to int, we could say hit.transform.position.x, hit.transform.position.y plus 1, hit.transform.position.z. And now, I know. You want us to be ints, but I can assure you that we are. It's okay. You don't have to be scared. Okay. I can smell there being something wrong with that. I could smell what the rock was cooking. Okay. And again, a lot of this stuff can be quote-unquote heavy, but it's a single loop happening by player input, so it doesn't matter too much. And we can always make it better later. Okay, so this is correct. This is not. It's exciting to watch, but now I gotta think about why it's happening. What would cause... So it's perfectly fine there. Oh, interesting. If we raycast to the side... Very interesting. Raycast on top? Madness. Raycast on the side, gladness. Tragedy, happy. Tragedy, happy. Although this does seem pretty happy. Alright, thinky time. Why would casting to the roof... You know, I have a theory. Oh no, the theory breaks down on this one. So, my theory was... Okay, so my theory was that what was happening was the raycast was coming from this angle and going through, say, this block, and hitting this one, which would cause this to blink between this spot and this spot, which from our camera angle would potentially make it look like it's losing its mind. Maybe. But it's going quite high. And there's no reason for it to go quite high. Because this should make it snap to the ground if you were to move it around the ground. Interesting. So for editing buildings, perhaps we need it to raycast and either hit the floor or islands. Current mask is the terrain mask, and then up here fascinating. Works on the side of the cube, but not on the top. What if we basically didn't do this, which I recognize is going to throw an error for a moment here. Because if we do this, if there's still a blinking, that rules out it toggling between two different positions rapidly. At least in the sense of what I was thinking. Okay, so it's still doing it. So it has nothing to do with that other code. Okay, so we've ruled that out. Next, I suppose we need to think about what's being hit. So now we're going to do a debug. And we're just going to print out the name of what's being hit and see if it's always the same block. If it's not always the same block, we can work back from there. Ah. Wait a minute. Is it hitting itself? And then the reason this is working is we're not touching it? Oh. It's hitting itself. That makes perfect sense because we hadn't switched the layer on it. Hey, there we go. And you know what? I don't think I need to do... Oh heavens, am I not going to have to do math? Oh. Not a religious man, but I have those moments, you know? So you'll notice that it sort of snaps between islands. What I kind of want it to do instead is to just hover over, and what would happen is you would change the color of... Does it let me release it? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine. We'll get that working. But I would rather just go from, like, say... Because it'll... let me open up my MS Paint again. So the way it's going to work visually is you're going to have a ghost square that'll be going... Like, imagine if it was a building. You'd have the ghost square here and some kind of line. And then at the top, you would have the actual... Whoops! You would have the actual object that's going to be then plopped down. So that's the thought process. Oh, I'm just tickled pink that it already works, though. Okay. So on place thing, we need to come back over to map. So for place thing, we are attempting to place a For building, we need to do something slightly different. So for building, instead of it looking to see if a terrain piece is not there, it looks to see if it is there. Now this code would only work for a building that is 1 block big. We're going to need to eventually edit the code so that the dimensions of the blocks are included, or the dimensions of the buildings are included, so that we can then, if it's say a 2x2, we would check that full set. Okay. So does that need to be public? Why do I have that as public? That doesn't need to be public. Madness. Private void attempt building placement. And same basic idea. Same basic idea. Is that? Yes, that will be fine. Pause. Oh, this is still fine. This is fine for what we're about to do. I also recognize that the I 100% recognize that technically the debug message is not necessarily correct, but baby steps. You take things in iterative steps, right? Otherwise you'll just never get anything done if you're always trying to make it perfect the first time. Refactoring is a lot of fun. And I don't mean that as a sarcastic comment. Alright. Man, this remix is just banging. Okay. So what we're missing, we have the world map. And that currently contains all of the tile placements. But I think we want to do a second map, which is the building map. Yeah. And that building map will... Sorry, thinky. Huh. Okay, we're good. And then if game data dot building map dot add pause tile else. Terrain exists and space free. And space occupied. Terrain doesn't exist. So there's two states, so is there somewhere for me to land, and is my space free? If so, place me here. And then if there is no terrain, just abort. If there is terrain but there's something there, abort. Okay. All right, temp building. And then click. No, you're not going to work? Why wouldn't you work? Well, let's go look at our code. It's possible that it's this. But only barely. Game data. Editing buildings. These are correct because we are moving this around. So we are here. And then here. Then this happens. Then this happens. Then this happens. We are seeing the line. Okay. This happens. This is definitely happening. This happens. But then this is not happening. Why wouldn't that happen? Oh! I know exactly what's happening here. I'm looking in the wrong file. Okay. And that, kids, is why you don't add something to a switch before it's ready. You just let it go through the default and fail. Oh! Huh? The only question I have is, where's my debug log? Oh, right, it's because I have it turned off. Oh, I thought I did. Was it map? Yeah. Terrain exists, but the space is occupied. But the next spot was not. Okay. Pretty cool. And then if we stop playing, and then replay... Ah, my saving and loading system isn't saving the buildings. Which is actually surprising. So we place a building. Check our game data. Whoops. Oh, interesting. That's something else I'll need to fix. Okay, everything so far looks good, except for the fact that it didn't spawn the... Ah-ha-ha! That's what it is. Ah, tricky past me. If you don't tell your map to respawn them. Right here. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. Oh me, oh my. Whoops. Let's do it a different way. Is it a tile? Come here, you silly goose. Oh, is that why I did it as an int? Thinking. Don't think so. Don't think so. We'll see. But... Okay. Okay. Looking good. You're looking good, darling. Oh. No. Okay, I admit, maybe I put something in the catalog without assigning it. Is that so wrong? Ah! I need to start saving Y position. Why? Because I said so. Real quick, we will fix them because they're about to save wrong. Ah, Mazel Tov. Okay, and then save. Now we need to come back over to this. Game data. We still only need X and Y for that. But do we only need X and Y if we're going to be doing saving and loading? I mean, I guess for buildings, we just know what... Because we're not going to be making this game higher than 1 tier for the first version. I mean, if people buy it or whatever, then I'll make a fancier one. But yeah, you know what? Executive decision. We'll just have it be 2D and just do it this way. Cool. Okay. That was remarkably productive. So I guess really, now we just need to clean up the scene a little bit because I don't want all these clones. I think that'll give us... Oh, I guess it'll already just string it out. Okay. And then... we don't have anything for lift for now. So then... that would be under... map? Yes. And then here. I think that's it. And also down here. What was it? Type, this won't work, right? Oh. Well then, we'll just do that. Okay. And that should set the names for each of them. So now, instead of it just saying terrain.clone or terrain clone in all of them, when we reload here, what we should see is a bunch of nicely named blocks. Ooh, so pretty. And then if we move one, which one was that? Oh, but you know what? Maybe lift. Yeah, we'll add a move as well, not just lift, but yeah, so when it moves, let me turn on Visual Studio for a moment here. When it moves, you can see it's this bottom one here. Move it over to, boop. Now it goes from -1 to 1 because this would be 0. Move it down one here. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm not clearing. I'm not clearing. Yep. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to want to come through and check the type. So let's just grab this. And in fact, we can make this cleaner. When in doubt, clean it out. There we go. Okay. Now, unfortunately, we're still going to probably have to remove those few by hand that I just messed up. But I think that's right. Yes. And we'll want to update this a bit as well. Boom. Efficiency, removing code. Not that you can see it because I have it turned off. That's fine. So we've consolidated down. We're gonna do the same thing down here. And that also means that we can do this. We probably don't even need this switch anymore at all, but I'll always remove it later. Yeah, sure. I'll leave it for now. Same thing's gonna happen here. Consolidate those. I can tell it's getting late. I worked out today, and my brain's just like, bro, you're killing me. I'm not built for this. Okay. That looks good. This actually shouldn't be possible anymore. Certainly not at the move stage. Gosh, I hope not. Plus, no reference errors. Pretty clear. Yeah, because it would happen here. So we don't need it here. That also means we don't need this here, because that's redundant. Ah, we can do it down here as well. Although this logic is a bit messier, so let's not. These two are actually unique. Because we were moving that block all over up there, it's like, ah, you wanted blocks everywhere, didn't you? Alright. So if we check the length of our building map, it's 11 items. 10, 11, 10, 11. Hey! Yeah! Nice. I bet with a little bit of thinking, I'll be able to consolidate this even further so that we could do tiered stuff. But I really don't want to do feature creep stuff, so we'll hold off. That's about an hour. That's not bad. I suppose something we could do real quick is we could nest these children. They're generated by the map. Okay, that works. Terrain parent. Building. Boop, doop, 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 doop. And grab this. Again, you do not need it at all. Whoever watches this at any point, don't need to add the equals null. I just do it because I've been hurt before by a terrible coding language. And people will tell you, no, it's lovely, it's great, and they're tricking you. JavaScript was written by evil people who hate me. I know it to be true. Although TypeScript is quite nice. But that's because it's basically JavaScript if it was a little bit closer to C#. Hey, okay, come down here. Grass block.set parent, or transform.set parent, and that'll be terrain parent. And what is this?
Here he comes again, running like the open wind. Yeah, moving through the day, make the legion know he's on his way.
True. Okay.
Can you feel the heat?
I always get it backwards. I'm about to explain something very dangerous about what I just did here, but you'll see. Okay. You're gonna see that these are still here in a moment, probably. Now, in previous Unities, while these still show here, they're actually null right now. Let's find out if they fixed it in 2020. They did! Well, that's exciting. Normally, that screws you right in the butt, and you end up spending ages trying to debug it, and then you finally notice that these are null even though in your inspector it shows them. Oh, nope, they are null. This is sneaky. They're not childed yet. But now, if we clear these, or at least replace them. Did you see the text change? That's how they get you. Pro tips. Pro tips, folks. Alright, and now all of my blocks are childed nicely inside of a couple of parents. Casual observation. Oh, okay, this is just the gizmo, that's fine. Awesome. Yeah. I should probably add some debug buttons for changing what control type it is. That green outline you can see is just the collider. You can turn that off. Yeah, I'm pleased as punch with the progress here. Nice. Okay. So I will leave it at that. There'll be another video tomorrow, almost certainly, unless I feel exceptionally worthless or something. Thank you for watching, and if you end up watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching there. You know, have a good day, be good to yourself, and if it's snowing where you are, go out and make a snow angel. It's snowing here. Well, not right now, but tons of snow outside. Anyways, bye.